What's going on, everyone? It's Tilk, and I know it's been forever since I actually made a video, but there's been a lot going on, and that's why we will have an update video that will be going up shortly after I finish making this video. But this video won't actually be up until the following week after you guys see this update video, so that actually might be a little confusing for you all. But anyways, today we do have a very awesome video for you all, and I can't wait to get into this. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's video, though. As always, if you do enjoy today's video, definitely leave a like and definitely subscribe to the channel if you are new for more VGC content as well as other Pokemon related content. Today, though, we do have a really accomplished team to go over, and we have a really awesome person who was able to overwhelm the competition with a very strong team. He was able to, mostly just really strong plays in my opinion, that he was able to do during his amazing run at Utah Regionals. So if you do want to introduce yourself, you can do that now.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Preston Clark. I just went to the Utah Regionals and was able to pull off the win, and really excited to be here and thankful that I get to be on the channel. So thanks for having me.
Yes, of course, Preston. Thank you for being here and taking time out of your busy schedule to be here, as I know you do have finals, and then I know that you're probably trying to unwind from such a probably stress-filled run that you had when you were able to go like 7-0 in Switch, in Swiss. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. So I just really appreciate that you taking your time out of your day to be here, and for the viewers on my channel and for any newcomers that also end up tuning into today's video. But yes, so we do have Preston here, and we are going to be going over his regionals winning team. That Utah Regionals was just wrapped up recently, so it's definitely really fresh and definitely a really interesting and good team right now for the meta. And so we'll quickly go through his team building process, why exactly he thought each member on the team was a good choice, why exactly he chose the EV spread he chose, and what exactly he was thinking, why he thought it was a good meta call, and pretty much all of that, all the intricate stuff that goes into building a regionals winning team. Then we'll test in a few games so that you guys can get a good showcase, and then for the rest of this week we'll bring it on to the battle spot ladder in our VGC Climb the Ladder series, and we will try to showcase this team as best as we possibly can and try to do Preston some justice, as he showed how strong this team is. So we don't want to embarrass the team. It's a good team. So anyways, though, we could start off with Golduck if you just want to say, or just Double Duck in general. Why did you think Double Duck was a good combination, and why exactly did you choose the movesets and everything that you chose with these two?
Okay, so Double Duck. So from the very beginning, when I started playing Pokemon, I always loved offensive rain, and I always used Politoed. I think 99% of my teams was some sort of rain variant. And so when I saw that Pelipper got Drizzle, I was determined to make a Swift team. And after looking over, how much Intimidate there was going on in the meta, and how much physically based a lot of things were, I decided to go with Golduck instead of the other Swift Swimmers, because it's the hardest special Swift Swimmer that you can get this gen. And with the Z moves, Hydro Vortex, in the rain, there's not much that's going to take that very well. And so it allowed me to, right off the bat, lead with these two and get the momentum in my favor with the Hydro Vortex.
Yeah,
and the Tailwind.
Yeah, so certainly Golduck it's definitely the best Pokemon to support with any type of rain. If some people do try to use Politoed, even though Pelipper, as you will probably get into a little bit more, it is the best also rain user as well. The one that sets up rain the best, but still has lots of offensive power, mainly because of that Hurricane. But yeah, if you want to get a little bit more into Golduck, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, you're good. So Golduck, I started out with kind of a weird spread. It was more of a defensive spread. I didn't need a lot of speed because it was already, getting the Swift Swim boost. But as I played, I realized that even with the bulk, Golduck wasn't living too much. And so I just decided to go for the 252 modest spread and basically have Golduck be a suicide lead. Get out there, have the offensive pressure, blow something up with Hydro Vortex, and let Pelipper get the Tailwind to bring in one of my other heavy hitters from the back with a full Tailwind up. And so Golduck, that was pretty much like no joke. That was his role. Get out, blow something up, die, so I can bring something else in.
Nice, nice. It seemed like that worked pretty well for you, and that's usually how people do use Golduck. They often, even if the opponent is protecting, they often do go for that Water Z just because it still does chunks of damage to almost anything, even through Protect. As everyone should know by now, Z-moves do go through Protect, and
Exactly.
it allows pretty much Pelipper to get off sometimes an absolutely free Tailwind, considering how scared your opponent is of that Hydro Vortex going into the 2 Pokemon they lead with. And I just had a question. Did the popularity of Lele Balloon factor into why you wanted to use Double Duck? Because I know that Double Duck is one of the most comfortable combinations to go against those two, considering that they Golduck is already so fast because of the fact that Rain's already up, and then it can just it can hit the Balloon really hard, it can hit the Lele really hard, and then it's not really afraid of Drifblim really because of the Will-O-Wisp. That's what threatens a lot of physical attackers, but you have 2 really strong special attackers in these 2. So did that factor in at all into why you decided to run with these 2 Utah?
Yeah, it actually did, absolutely. So Golduck with just the 252 Modest outspeeds most Drifblim, unless the opponent really invested in speed, giving up a lot of bulk and power with that. I was outspeeding them, which allowed me to Hydro Vortex the Lele or whatever they have next to it, set up my own Tailwind, and then I could encore their Drifblim into being stuck in Tailwind, allowing me to just focus on their partner slot and then taking care of it around the end of the game. And so Golduck and Pelipper gave me the best matchup against Drifblim Lele, which I was positive was going to be popular at the regional. And it was. I think out of my 7 Swiss rounds, there was about 4 or 5 Drifblim Lele teams that I faced.
Oh, wow, yeah. Especially when you consider Cybertron just winning, previous to Utah, Cybertron just winning Portland, Oregon, with a very strong Drifblim Lele team. It was definitely something that I would also have expected. So, really smart on your end bringing that. And the Encore option is really nice, considering that Golduck already puts so much offensive pressure on teams due to its power in the rain as well as its speed, so that's always faster than most things. So that also makes Encore such a good option, since it usually is able to outspeed things and then able to go for that Encore. So I really like the fact that you not only chose these 2 but also chose Encore, as that's a really solid way of dealing with that combination. So I see why these 2 were a successful choice for you. So I guess we could start to get into the rest of the team, unless you have a little bit more you want to say about Pelipper.
Pelipper was just pretty straightforward. He was there for Tailwind and hopefully picking up the Scald Burns. I also liked him over Politoed because he had the Hurricane, which helped with grass types, to get rid of the types or the other bulky, what do I try to say, the bulky, walls that try to wall Golduck. Hurricane can still chunk them, and possibly pick up a Confusion with that. So Pelipper was my Politoed just because he had way more utility and he brought just way more to the partnership.
Yeah, certainly. And is there like an exact move you were afraid of or something with Wyguard? Maybe like a Discharge or something like that?
Yeah, so Discharge was one, and also Snarl.
And Snarl, okay.
It helps with Earthquakes and Rock Slides with, with Arcanine and Tapu Lele. It can support them. And it just really brought that utility. Also, like if they have Trick Room up with Torkoal, I can Wide Guard, late game and pick up the Torkoal under Trick Room that way. And then that helps bring in the mind games, like, am I going to Wide Guard again? What am I going to do? And so then they have the pressure on them to think of what my next move is when I have control of the game.
Certainly. Nice choices there, solid choices. So let's hop into this Kartana set now.
Yay.
So what exactly were you thinking with Kartana?
So I wanted to go Focus Sash on Kartana, but Pelipper already had it, and I knew I couldn't risk giving Pelipper anything but the Focus Sash. But I still wanted Kartana to hit hard, so I didn't want to do Assault Vest variant because they usually invest minimally into attack. And I needed something that could take advantage of the Tailwind turns and then just try to knock out as many things as possible. So I also thought going Scope Lens, but that that only gave me a 50% chance to crit with Leaf Blade, and I didn't want to do any of the choice items, so I just thought Life Orb would be the best option because after calcing different items, Life Orb, picked up so many things late game that I could use it easily as a late game sweeper. It does Sacred Sword, Life Orb, even Intimidated does about 45% to an Arcanine. And then Unintimidated does about 65. Oh, wow. Smart Strike does well over 70% to most Muck that I played. And Sacred Sword almost can get the one-hit KO on Snorlax.
Wow.
And so he just hit like a truck, and I loved it. And there were times where I wished I had Assault Vest, but there was definitely a lot more times where I was glad I had Life Orb.
Nice, yeah. Especially considering, like you said, that you were using Golduck more as like a suicide lead to just hit as hard as possible and then get another really strong attacker in there. It makes a lot of sense why you did forego other items and choose that Life Orb so that you could just be a because Kartana's already so threatening and so hard hitting on a majority of the Pokemon in the meta. Adding that Life Orb probably just frightened the heck out of people once they saw the damage output that did.
Yep.
So not bad at all. Now we can just hop right into Snorlax.
Yeah, Snorlax was obviously my Trick Room counter. I wasn't too afraid of Trick Room, honestly, with this Snorlax. Like, it just pulled its own weight in and out of Trick Room. I decided to go for Protect over Recycle, which everybody at the tournament, as soon as I told them I had Protect, they all thought I was just a crazy person, because who runs a Snorlax without Recycle? But several times throughout the tournament, people would try to double into my Snorlax and try to Z-move it, and I would Protect, and I would get a free turn, knock out one of their Mons, and get like all the momentum back in my favor. And so it was really useful. And then Curse was really nice because what I would usually do with Trick Room is I would still just lead Golduck Pelipper and blow something up as much as I could, get the free switch into Snorlax, and then just wreck under Trick Room from there. And the Snorlax, I would never change it. It's so good, and it definitely was an MVP at a lot of games during the tournament.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought process that you had there with going with Protect. But once something has become such a staple in the meta, it sometimes isn't the worst idea to start thinking a little bit out of the box of how to run it a little bit differently, especially once you get to a regional where everyone's considering the most popular way things are ran, and they start to not really consider as much as other ways things can be ran. And Snorlax has become a staple in this year's meta for a good while now, so most people have grown very accustomed to that Recycle set. So for you to choose Protect, I could see why so many people would double still into that Snorlax and then just be like, welp, that sucks, he has Protect. And, and it just benefits you so heavily. Like, that's a really, really smart choice on your end, in my opinion.
Yeah, and then the EVs are just for more defensive bulk. It already has a big special defense, so you don't really need to put much there. 68 EVs, and it's 160 base HP. Like, that's good enough. And
that
then
is fat.
And then the 96 attack and the 244 defense just let me do a lot of damage and take a lot of damage from the physical attackers. Even like a 252, I think it's 252, Adamant Arcanine Banded close combat doesn't KO this Snorlax.
That's great. That's awesome. And like, also, just another, once again with the Protect, it's just the fact that Snorlax is already so bulky that it doesn't look like it's absolutely necessary to have Recycle. Like, yeah, it's really good for really like dragging a game on, like really dragging it on. But when you look at your team and you look at the offensive powers, we're going to see that even these last two Pokemon have lots of offensive power. You're not trying to drag games out. You're trying to overwhelm your opponent as quick as possible. So I can really understand why you didn't see the need for Recycle, because you're not trying to drag the game out. You're trying to overwhelm them. And Snorlax already is really bulky, especially when you have the Gluttony plus the Pinch Berry. It still gets all that health back, and then it still has to be prioritized to take out, especially if it already has some curses up. So it really is fitting for your team. And knowing that it can't even be taken out by a Banded Arcanine's close combat, that is amazing. So that is a nice Snorlax set. Now we can hop into Arcanine.
Arcanine is probably the Pokemon that's changed the most on the team.
Okay.
I've had it from the very beginning when I was still running like Golduck, Pelipper, and I was, instead of Kartana it was Bulu, and instead of Snorlax it was like Spider, and Tapu Lele was Porygon 2. Arcanine's always been around, but it's always had something different going on with it. But I noticed that there was a rise in Celesteela and a rise in Gyarados that was going on. And so I decided that instead of Arcanine being the support Arcanine with Snarl and Helping Hand that I had before, that I needed to just keep going with the theme of the team, and that's offensive pressure. And so I put 172 EVs in speed to make it 137, which is enough to outspeed timid 180 EV Gyarados, which is what a lot of people were running. And then I just put the rest into special defense to help take Tapu Lele Psychics and Tapu Koko Thunderbolts. And then defense, 12 EVs was enough to survive an Earthquake from a -1 Garchomp, and then the 76 HP EVs were just for overall bulk, as well as the attack was just enough to pick up the KOs that I needed on the common spreads for Celesteela and other type of Pokemon.
Oh, nice. I like that a lot. And yeah, you foregoing the more not the more standard, but the more just support Arcanine and going with a more offensive one makes a lot of sense for the theme of this team. So I really do like this as an option, and I personally haven't even tried out Choice Banded Arcanine, so that's awesome that you gave this a whirl and it ended up being so successful for you.
Yeah, it helped a lot. It also helps with the Trick Room mode that people do, because if I really don't want to use Trick Room, want them to use Trick Room, I can lead Arcanine with either Kartana or Tapu Lele, and sometimes even Pelipper, and a close combat on a Porygon 2 usually still does around 75%, even with the more defensive ones, and then a Scald can pick that up later. And so I would also use Arcanine as a Trick Room lead to kind of put the pressure on the Porygon 2 and whatever else they might have so that I can pick up the KO, and then I would just lead in the back with, you know, my fast sweepers. And so he really helped a lot with my Trick Room counter.
Yeah, especially considering that there's Porygon 2 and Snorlax, two notorious Pokemon that do like to function inside a Trick Room. Porygon more so just mainly likes to set it up and allow something else to really take advantage of it, but still two Pokemon that are definitely known for their being slow and wanting to be in Trick Room. And it makes sense that you'd want something to help obliterate those Pokemon, considering your team doesn't really want Trick Room to be set up. Snorlax can help, but it still doesn't really want it to be set up. So it makes sense. A lot of Kartana's Sacred Sword does do a decent amount to those Pokemon, but at the same time, it doesn't really pick up the KO, and then Trick Room set up, and then Kartana's so frail that you're in a bad situation. And there's so many fairy types that fighting types are like non-existent, other than pretty much Buzzhole, which isn't. It's still below par in my opinion. So it makes a lot of sense why you just go for a really hard hitting close combat Arcanine. So I like that.
Yeah, and then
Lele.
And then the heaviest hitter on the team, probably, the one that picks up the most KOs out of everything on this team, is the Choice Specs Modest Tapu Lele. This thing is a monster. It has the 92 HP, and it has the 116 defense, which is enough to live a Smart Strike, I think a Smart Strike from a -1 Kartana.
Okay.
And it's enough to live a Heavy Slam from like a 252 Celesteela. I don't exactly remember if that was adamant or if it was like careful, but yeah. So it survived pretty good -1 Heavy Slams and Smart Strikes, which was important because then I could lead it with Arcanine, and I could get that surprise on him that I survive it, and then I could potentially pick up 2 KOs that way. And then 244 special attack Choice Specs Lele was just to hit as hard as possible. It's to help with Gastrodon, to help take out the Gastrodon. It KOs the Arcanine. It KOs Tapu Bulu. It KOs Tapu Koko. A Psychic Terrain on a Tapu Fini does well over 70-80%. A moon blast into a +1 special defense Mandibuzz still does about 60%. So yeah, it hits really hard.
Yeah, that is literally monstrous. And was Thunderbolt more so just for like Celesteela?
Yeah, Thunderbolt was for Celesteela, and if you watched my finals match against Kyle, and I think in the first game, I actually do Thunderbolt his Celesteela and just let Tapu Lele go down, so that I could put it in range of a attack next turn. And then there have been times, also during Swiss and in practice, where it'll be Celesteela versus my Tapu Lele, and they think they got it, and they're at 60-70% HP, but Thunderbolt at this investment does around 80%.
Oh my god.
And so I'll surprise them with the Thunderbolt and take the game, and so it's really come in handy a lot of the time, actually.
That's awesome. This is once again another Pokemon that I never really used yet, even though I knew how threatening it was, especially under Tailwind, which you do have as an option. I never really used Choice Spec Tapu Lele, so that's just awesome that you were able to make not one but two Choice Pokemon work for you, and just overwhelm your opponents with this offensive power. But especially with Tapu Lele already hitting so hard, especially because most Tapu Leles can still just like Oko, Tapu Kokos in Psychic Terrain, so they definitely hit really hard. But yours is like Okoing some Arcanines and stuff like that. That is intense. That puts your opponent puts their back against the wall really quickly. So I definitely really like this as an option. Let me just switch this to level 50 though, because right now it's 100. But yeah, that is great. So that's pretty much the team. Quickly go through it. Choice Specs Lele to hit like a freaking monster under Tailwind, as well as just having like pretty much good coverage for a lot of things, the fairy coverage for things like Mandibuzz and maybe some like I guess Persian sometimes, but more so Mandibuzz, just because it has also that flying typing, so the fighting type moves won't be super effective on it. Thunderbolt for Celesteela and maybe even some Gyarados. And Psychic just hit everything really hard that doesn't resist or is immune to Psychic. Then we got the Choice Band Arcanine to just to chunk those normal types that really like Trick Room, as well as to hit just so many things really hard with that Flare Blitz and Wild Charge, and as well as to pick up some KOs, especially maybe even some surprising ones with extreme speed, considering that you are Choice Bandit. Yep. Then we got the Protect, No Recycle, Papa Berry Snorlax, really good Trick Room option, as well as just a fat Pokemon so that you could have some better switch-ins with this team. So I definitely like Snorlax, especially with that much investment in defense, so that you could live things really nicely. So there's Snorlax. Then we have the Life Orb Kartana, definitely an interesting option. I haven't seen much of in this year's meta, with the normal coverage moves as well as Protect. But yeah, the most interesting thing is that Life Orb, just to hit extremely hard once Tailwind is set up. And then we got Double Duck as always, but with Wide Guard on the Pelipper as a nice little option, and as well as Encore on Golduck, so that you can have as best of a matchup against that Balloon Lele combination that had became so popular, especially leading into Utah. So definitely a really strong team. I like it a lot, especially now that I've heard your thought process behind everything. Like, that really helped me really get an idea of exactly what you're thinking behind this team, and it really opened my eyes a little bit more to exactly how good this team really is. It seemed a little standard when I was watching you play with it in the few games I was able to catch, because I was at work while you were in Top Cut of the Utah Regionals. But it definitely helped me realize there was a lot more thought process behind this team than I initially thought. So that's awesome to get you to explain that. Now I guess we could just hop into some games. We'll probably get around 4 games, just switch back and forth and see if we could showcase this team a little bit well, so you guys can get a deeper understanding of exactly how this team functions. So if you just want to click battle, and you could get the first one, and then I'll get the second one after that, so that I could see you, the creator of this team, use it first.
Okay, hopefully I don't disappoint. Let's see. Alright, here we go.
Okay. All right,
so
that team.
Yeah, and so the thing that you first look for with the team is if they have any opposing weather, and they don't. And so you just win when they don't have weather that's slower than yours. you just want to lead Pelipper Golduck like every time. Like that's what you do. Pelipper Golduck if you have the weather win.
So something I didn't ask you about, what's your opinion on leading Pelipper Golduck when they do have a fake out user like Persian?
I bring Tapu Lele in the back. And then I usually switch in Tapu Lele, predicting the protect. I'm predicting the fake out so that they fake out in psychic terrain, and then I get the free Hydro Vortex.
Great.
Type thing. The only thing I am worried about is the Kartana, because there isn't a ton I can do against it if it's Focus Sashed or if it's Assault Vest. And so I'd usually either bring Arcanine or Kartana. I see the Finny, so I'm probably going to bring the Kartana, and then just see if I can play around it.
All right.
Okay, so that's not too bad.
Okay.
So we're just going to Tailwind, Hydro Vortex, and I'm going to Hydro Vortex the Snorlax to proc the Berry, and then also I have Kartana in the back that can take care of Finny if I really need it.
Okay.
And so let's do that. See how it works. a lot of the team, honestly, is you just got to make the reads. You just got to try to make the predictions.
Oh my lord, that damage.
Yeah, I know. See, and this is good. I'm glad he Calm Mind, because then I can do this. I can just Scald and I can Encore the Tapu Fini into Calm Mind. Yep. And hopefully the Snorlax will take out my Golduck so I can bring in my Kartana. Oh, okay. That's good too. Because now I can just do this. I can Encore his Snorlax into Recycle and bring in my free Kartana.
Yes, you sure can. Oh god, Encore is so good.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed I didn't get to showcase it very much. Oh, okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I'll just bring in Tapu Lele in case he goes for an extreme speed and Hydro Pump the Arcanine. Yep.
And he does.
Yeah.
He does. And you hit, and that's gone.
Yep.
And that's encored for at least this last turn. Yep, and then it ends.
Yeah. And so he might bring in Kartana, because I feel like he has to bring Kartana against the rain team, you know?
Yeah.
Because Kartana can take care of Snorlax, Finny, Developers, and I mean, I'm okay with that. I'm just gonna Psychic, and I'm just gonna Encore the Finny again. Okay, that's fine.
It's just gonna. Okay, so he's gonna Frustration you, but that's a free switch into your.
Yeah, into my Kartana, and his Arcanine's gone now.
Yep.
And so.
No more of
There's nothing you can do. So I can just Psychic that again. And there isn't any way you can really build Finny to survive a Leaf Blade Life Orb. So the Finny's pretty much a guaranteed absolutely going down. Unless it has some weird, like, berry thing, you know?
Even then, like...
So yeah, it's gone.
Yeah. Taking lives.
Yeah. It's gone. And there's the forfeit.
There we go. All right, that was a great showcase of this team, especially against a team that I thought looked pretty strong, but you played against it perfect, especially with that switch-in, with that Tapu Lele predicting that extreme speed. Great job there. You definitely know this team inside and out. So I'll hop into a game now. We'll see how this goes. You can definitely help me with a little bit of direction here and there.
Okay. So
all right, we got the slower freaking weather.
This is gonna be actually really hard, because we can't really lead our weather against a Gigalith, right?
Yeah.
And he has double Intimidate, so Arcanine and Kartana are gonna have a hard time KOing whatever this Porygon has in store. And even then, he might just lead, Coco Kartana for a fast mode. We just gotta say a prayer and hope we pick the right thing. Um, that's tough, man.
Yeah, that is a tough team to go against, especially with that double intimidate. Because
Yeah.
if it wasn't for the double intimidate, then obviously Arcanine and Kartana would look really strong here, but it makes it a little bit more difficult.
Let's get crazy and do Golduck Pelipper.
Golduck Pelipper. Okay.
Yeah, let's just do Golduck Pelipper, and then do Snorlax and Arcanine.
Snorlax, Arcanine. We're doing it. Okay, he leads what I expected.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, no worries there.
So, So, Hydro Vortex the Gigalith, switch out Pelipper for Snorlax. Because if the Gigalith doesn't protect, I'm pretty sure Hydro Vortex still picks that up. And then if he does protect, we have the free switch into Trick Room.
Oh yeah, certainly.
Snorlax. I think that's the move. Okay.
Okay, he protects.
Yeah. That's fine.
Oh, it doesn't even set a Trick Room. Okay.
That's okay. We're faster anyways. Snorlax is. So what you can do is you could either Encore the Gigalith, or you can Hydro Pump the Gigalith and switch in Pelipper again to give you your weather back. And either one's fine. Golduck's going down next turn anyways, no matter what you do.
Yeah, I'm just going to pump it just because on the off chance that he brings something else in, I'd just like to get the chip in case he doesn't. Yeah, that he doesn't stay in. So I'm gonna Hydro Pump it, hoping that we actually do hit it, and then I'll switch back in Pelipper.
And I think that's what I would do. Yeah, that's definitely a good move. Oh no!
We miss. It's fine.
That's okay. That's okay. No. Okay, now we can bring in Arcanine, and hopefully we're faster. Like, this is the problem is. I'm thinking maybe going a little faster with Arcanine just to make sure I can outspeed Gyarados.
So Wild Charge and Scald.
Wild Charge and Scald, or we can go close combat, or we can just predict a Protect or something and go close combat on Porygon 2 and Scald.
Oh, just on the off chance he doesn't protect that Gyarados, it'd just be so awful.
I know.
Maybe a Wild Charge and switch in Snorlax just so that if he does go Trick Room protect, then we still do have Snorlax in.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Let's give that a try.
Let's give that a try. Oh, we should have went for the Porygon.
You're right.
Right. Man.
You're so right. You know this team better than me.
It's just, he's just.
Okay. He's not. He's going offensive with the Porygon too, which is interesting to me. So,
yeah,
right.
I think it's because we do have the Snorlax and he doesn't want it. Here, just go for the Wild Charge and Curse.
Yeah, that's what I was literally going to do. That works.
Yeah.
He's gonna switch it in. Oh, switch it all on Arcanine. Okay.
Still chunks it though. Look at that.
Yeah, that's good damage.
And Curse. All right, that's still good. So now, Porygon 2, it's not doing a whole lot besides just Thunderbolting.
Yeah.
And so, honestly, like I'm honestly just ignoring it right now. To be honest with you.
Well, yeah. Now I think he might just switch double back into Gyarados. Honestly, thinking that I might go for a high horsepower on his Arcanine.
So what I would do is I would just Wild Charge, return the Arcanine.
Yep, that's exactly what I wanted to do. Hopefully it doesn't protect it. Oh, okay, Extreme Speeds, that's fine.
That's okay. And he'll take out the Arcanine here.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Okay, so now, bring in Pelipper.
Gyarados comes back. We're -1.
Yeah. And so, Scald, just double into the P2. Because, really, like, at this point, there's not a lot we can do, but just hope that he protects. So, okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Oh, that sucks. Just because the sandstorm damage is going to take us out. Yeah, this one looks like it's just a little too much. I really need to listen to you and go for that close combat.
So, just Curse again. because we're slower at this point. He's just gonna start cycling intimidates.
It's a long one. Might end up just getting one more game after this, but that's fine.
Yeah, and just curse again, because there's not a lot he can do right now with that Gyarados.
Yeah. Okay,
So
he's finally going for the DD. And he's fishing for some nice beam freezes.
yeah. So now just start attacking stuff and just go down fighting.
For real.
You know.
Okay, he does have the Water MZ.
Yeah.
Right. That's good damage though. Good to know.
Yeah, it's still like neutral damage. It's still good. Like we just made some misplays this game.
Yeah, I feel like the main one was probably just that going for that close combat on Porygon would have put us in such a good position. But,
Yeah,
you can get this last game, showcase the team just a little bit more, and then we can call it quits. I feel like that's good enough. Just because that game ended up being a little longer.
Okay. Yeah, and this team really performs well in like a best of 3 format because like games like that, you kind of see how they play. They did a lot of switching.
Yeah,
and they're very defensive, and so you can kind of play around it.
And he didn't set up Trick Room, so that was like a huge deal, knowing that he wasn't really prioritizing Trick Room either.
Yeah, and so game 2, you could adjust to that, and you could just kind of.
Yeah, I felt like honestly, Lele would have obliterated that team.
Yeah, it really would have. There's nothing that Porygon 2 could have done, and Arcanine couldn't do that much damage to Tapu Lele in Rain, and so it definitely would have been really good. So let's just go.
Here we got a Braviary and then Standard.
Yeah. Let's just go a Double Ducks, Tapu Lele, and we'll do Kartana again. We'll do those 4 again. Those usually are my go-to 4.
They're so strong.
Okay. So.
Okay.
We're still not in that bad a position. I'm okay. The only thing I want to do is see if Kartana is Assault Vest or Focus Sash. And so I'm gonna Hydro Vortex the Kartana and Tailwind with Pelipper and see what happens.
All right, probably a Sash.
Yep.
Yep. Get the Rock Slide.
Don't flinch.
No, yeah, no flinch,
Don't
please.
flinch.
No flinch, please.
No! Dang it.
No, you flinch. Oh, Lord.
Okay, but we're going to do this. We're going to Wide Guard and Leaf Blade.
Hopefully outspeed.
Oh, he's Scarfed.
Oh, yeah, that was obvious to me once. Oh, no, I guess it... No, yeah, I guess it wasn't absolutely obvious. He could have just been faster than his Kartana.
Yeah, these are like kind of the moments where it kind of comes in handy, because now I can just keep wide guarding, and I can smart strike the Braviary.
Yep. Yeah, wide guard definitely comes in handy against these guard chumps that want to spam Rock Slide. Oh my god.
And then this is a problem. Because Tapu Koko can take out Kartana.
But could it if you switched in Lele switched up the terrain? No, because he could still go for Thunder if he has it.
Yeah, and he has Rock Slide.
Yeah, but that's resisted. So, it shouldn't do too much, but yeah, I guess it still could put you in Thunderbolt range. I'm gonna
Wide Guard anyways, and Leaf Blade the Tapu Koko because
pray you live.
Because next turn, even if he kills the Kartana, I can bring in Tapu Lele and kill the Tapu Koko.
Oh yeah, and then you could just Wide Guard again and Garchomp stuck into Rock Slide. Yep.
Yeah. And that's okay, because now he has to attack the Pelipper.
Yep.
And I can just Wide Guard and Dazzling Gleam.
Dazzling Gleam picks up the Koko?
It should pick up the Garchomp.
Oh, okay. Makes sense. Yep, and he has to. And then there's no way he can take you out with at full health.
Yep. Unless he gets a crit or something
still almost
crazy.
picked it up with that little bit of chip.
Yeah.
Oh my lord. Yeah.
That's the game.
There we go. There we go. All right, that is Preston Clark's Utah Regionals winning team. Very interesting, very awesome to get his insight on the team. I hope you guys did enjoy this. Thank you so much once again, Preston, for coming out. You're the best for this. Really, really, really appreciate it.
Hey, no problem.
Yeah,
it was a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, this is honestly really fun, and I can't wait to bring this team onto the BattleSpot ladder and actually start to showcase this team really well and see exactly what I can do with this team. After seeing your insight, though, I feel like I can do all right. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's a fun team. Like once you get the hang of it, like it's really fun, you know. And then like really the key to it is to just go for the things that you think are kind of crazy, you know. Like if we would have really just stuck to our guns and went for the double into the P2. You know, even though it's crazy, like, that was the right move.
It was the right move, and you called it. You know this team inside and out. But yes, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. Appreciate it so much. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, like I said, if you enjoyed, definitely leave a like. It really does help support the channel. And subscribe to the channel if you are new for more VGC content such as this. I love doing these videos like this. So I'll see you guys once we do take this team onto the BattleSpot ladder in tomorrow's video. Thank you once again for tuning in. I'm going to get the heck out of here. Preston's going to get the heck out of here. I'll see you guys in the next video. For now, though, peace out.